Alright, so we are back for another Dokkan battle video, and in today's video we are going to be looking at the Dokkan Fest Android 21. Now Android 21, with her details that we got, like what, a day ago, seemed pretty solid. She didn't seem that insane, but of course, with a lot of these units, you kind of have to wait to see their showcase so you can really see what their full potential is and how they're actually going to be looking most of the time. So definitely really looking forward to the showcase, and I'm really curious if she's going to be good, because like I said, with her details, she looked alright, but she didn't look that crazy. But if she is really good, it's going to be really beneficial to the game, because, bro, she is on some really weak teams. Androids, Majin Power, Peppy Gals, Power Absorption, Transformation Boost, Crossover, Battle of Wits are all not really great teams. I mean, of course, some of these categories, I guess, have some good options. I mean, Crossover obviously has all the Dragon Ball Heroes units. Transformation Boost has some pretty good options as well. And then, I don't know, I guess Battle of Wits might. But most of the teams do kind of suck, so her being pretty good, hopefully, fingers crossed, would be really beneficial just for the game overall. So we got a pretty good team for her. We do have her next to LR Bulma. Look, man, I don't think LR Bulma is ever going to age. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I think LR Bulma is probably the best unit in the game as it stands. And a release like this just further solidifies that, because, dude, like, look at this rotation. I mean, 3 out of 7 links, that doesn't seem that crazy, but you got to keep in mind, that's Brainiacs, Battlefield Diva, and Fierce Battle, which between all of those links, that's like 50% attack, 15% defense, and then a 5% chance to dodge, and 3 key. And then also Bulma supporting Android 21. Android 21 technically is supporting Bulma as well, so a really good rotation with this. I mean, this is just going to destroy everything. So, really good for Android 21 and for, obviously, LR Bulma. But anyway, start of turn for the 21. We're here at 250k defense. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest, that sucks. I mean, for a start of turn defensive stat, that's really bad, but you have to keep in mind, there's a lot else going on. So she doesn't build up or anything, but she does get a lot of stats on super and when attacking. Also, she does get a high chance to dodge after attacking as well. So there's a lot to keep in mind. Like I said, 50% chance to dodge and a lot more stats on super. Definitely will make her look a lot more impressive after you get, you know, those two things activated. But I don't know, man. You just got to keep in mind, it's going to be a little tricky with her sometimes, because if you get AoE'd, if you get locked in slot 1 or something like that, she will take a lot of damage. So just be careful where you have her. Now, on this rotation right here, I want to keep Bulma on the rotation, but I know damn well Bulma's about to kill right here. So, yeah, whatever. I guess we'll just play it like this. I mean, Toa's a pretty good support, so we can keep him on the same rotation. And then on the next turn, I think we're going to have the other Android 21, so then we can see them link, you know, together. Because obviously, this Android 21, the Dokkan Fest one, does get a lot of power through her links. Not only is she a Big Bad Bosses unit when she transforms, but before she transforms, she has Brainiacs, which, like I mentioned, 15% attack and defense. She's got Metamorphoses, which, let me look really quick. Okay, yeah, that's 5% HP and then 10% attack and defense. Sorry, I got her pulled up on my other monitor, so I'm just like looking at all of her links really quick. She's got Android Assault, which is 2 key, 20% defense. Shocking Speed, which is 2 key, 5% defense. Battlefield Diva, which is 3 key and then a 5% chance to dodge. Scientist, which is 2 key and a 20% chance, or 20% defense, excuse me, sorry, I got confusing there. And then Fierce Battle, which is 20% attack. So between all of her links, Brainiacs gives 15% defense, Metamorphosis gives 10%, so that's 25%. Android Assault gives 20%, so that's 45. Shocking Speed is another 5%, so that's 50. And then, yeah, okay, so she's getting 70% defense through her links. I would say that's pretty important. So in terms of link leveling a unit, this is definitely one of those units you're going to want to link level, right? Like 70% defense, a 5% chance to dodge, like 5 key, and then like 30% attack is really, really good with all of her links combined. So definitely link leveling her would be pretty smart. And then maybe trying to go for the ban unit 21 would be pretty good as well. Or if you have Bulma, just run her next to Bulma, because in terms of linking partners, she is kind of struggling. I guess I can show you guys really quick. I mean, there's a couple good units on here, but I don't know, man. I mean, the free-to-play Android 21, which I don't even think she's on here, she does kind of suck. Oh, yeah, she's right here. She's not really amazing. I mean, she's decent for a free-to-play unit, but in difficult content, she's just not built for that, so she's not going to be great in there. This unit, she absolutely sucks. She's aged out. The ban unit, that's what I'm saying, probably one of the best linking partners for this Android 21, and is actually really impressive. She gets a little bit of damage reduction and really high stats. And then, I mean, dude, who else is there? Maybe if this guy gets a good EZA, you could run them as a rotation. Maybe if this guy gets a good EZA, you could run them. But I don't know, man. Her linking partners are pretty rough. So what I'm saying is you should probably just go for the ban unit if you're summoning, and then just call it at that because you got a good rotation. Or if you have LR Bulma, just use that as a rotation, because right now those are really the only good linking partners, or actual good linking partners that she has. But anyway, right here, a lot of support. Also, we have a pretty good setup with the other Android 21. So as you can see, we got 5 out of 7 links right here. We are missing Brainiacs and Scientists, which is a good amount of defense between those 2 links. So just something to keep in mind. But also the Android 17 is giving like 77% defensive support. So I would say that kind of makes up for it. We're at a 5.6 million attack stat. Not really that great, but you do have to keep in mind, we do have built-in additionals right here. We did get the crit, and also we get 30% attack and defense on super. So with every super we do, obviously the stats are going to go a little bit higher. Now, just to finish going over her kit, she gets 150% the stats start of turn. She supports for 2 key to all allies, which is really good. It makes it to where you can kind of slap her on whatever team, and she's going to look pretty impressive, at least in terms of like, you know, making everyone look better, because she's giving everyone 2 key. So of course that is really useful. Also, she gets 120% the stats when attacking, and then a high chance to dodge. So that's what I'm saying. Gets the high chance to dodge after you attack, and the 120% the stats. So if she gets stunned or sealed or whatever, doesn't really matter, because she still gets all the stats and the dodge when attacking. So she's still going to be pretty good. The only thing that's going to mess her up is AoEs, or if she gets locked in slot 1. And then also, she gets 2 key, 60% attack for 3 turns after evading an attack. That's good, but I don't know. It's a little confusing for me, because most units, when they get stats on dodge, they have the dodge in slot 1, but Android 21 isn't going to have the dodge in slot 1. I mean, she'll have it for the attack she takes after she attacks, but like for those first couple of attacks that you take in slot 1, she's not going to be able to dodge that, because she only gets the dodge when she attacks. So it's kind of weird that she is like meant to dodge and then do her attack stat, which would make you think she's good for slot 1, but she doesn't get the dodge until attacking. So you know what I'm saying? It's kind of confusing, but the attack buff is for 3 turns. So even if you get the dodge, like after you attack in slot 2 or 3 or whatever, then on the next rotation when you have her, she's going to have that 60% attack and 2 key. So still very useful, just kind of weird the way they handled it. But then also she launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super just for free. And then she launches another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super, starting from the turn in which the character performs the 3rd attack in battle. So by the time you get that, you probably have the ability to transform with her. So it's not like there's a whole lot of value with that, because, you know, you're going to transform with her. I don't think there's really any scenario where you don't do that, just because she becomes a lot better on transformation. So pretty good that she has those additionals if you want to stay in the normal Android 21 state, but most of the time you're not going to want to do that. But then also she disables the attacked enemy's action once within the character's turn when she performs the 6th attack in battle. And then also she has a great chance of performing a critical hit starting from the character's next attack. So I think that's after the 6th attack in battle. So the 7th attack in battle, you have a great chance to crit. I mean, that's good, I guess, but it's very specific. I don't know. I feel like that's very, like, I don't know, specific. Like the 7th attack in battle, you have a 70% chance to crit. I mean, I guess it makes sense. 7th attack, 70% chance to crit, but I don't know. That does feel kind of random. But you can see right there, we did get the attack nullification. Yeah, I mean, pretty good. Some good value with Android 21, but she doesn't really become insane until she gets the transformation off, which the condition for the transformation is a little rough. So you have to be facing 1 enemy, and it has to be from turn 5. So unfortunately, in places like Super Battle Road, or even some of these random red zone stages where there are 2 enemies, you're not really going to be able to get the transformation, or at least you're not going to be able to get it until much later into the fight after you've killed like one of the enemies, so then there's only 1 enemy left. Or if there's like 5 enemies, you have to kill like 4 of them. So then obviously there's only 1 enemy left. So it can be tricky with it, with the active skill to get the transformation off. But it's still really good. Like I mentioned, she becomes a lot better. And she becomes pretty good defensively. And then this animation looks really good as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the skip off. And we're going to go ahead and play this. Alright, so got the transformation off. Now we should look pretty good right here. We've got 7 out of 7 links activated, and we've got big bad bosses from the other 21. So pretty good rotation in terms of links. We also have a lot of support, and we're here at 450k defense, basically 460k. Alright, So that's pretty impressive because there are a couple other things we got going on. So we do get 30% attacking defense on super and recover 5% HP, which we do have built-in additionals, so that's definitely very good. Also, we recover 30% HP once only, so when you get the transformation off, if you're kind of low on HP, obviously that'll help out a little. And then she gets 210% attack and defense start of turn. Really good buff, obviously. 210% is pretty high, I'd say. And then she still supports all allies for 2 key, so that's the good thing. The support doesn't go away. She also gets 2 key and 121% to stats when attacking, reduces damage received by 20%, and then gets another 60% defense within the same turn after receiving an attack. And then she launches 2 additional attacks, each have a great chance of becoming a super, and then recovers 21% HP when HP is 60% or less start of turn. Okay, so just to clarify, we get 121% to stats when attacking, so that's basically going to put us over 1,000,000 defense. We've got 21% damage reduction, and we also get 30% to stats on super. So just with 1 super, which we're probably going to get a couple additional supers, but for the benefit of the doubt, I'll just say 1 super. We're going to be like 1.3 million defense with 21% damage reduction, and we're recovering 5% HP on every super that we're doing, which, like I said, most of the time you're going to do multiple supers. And then also, we're supporting for 2 key, and we have this active skill. I mean, this is a good setup for her, don't get me wrong. You know, 6 out of 7 links and a lot of support, but this is a damn good rotation right here. Like, I know this is turn 5 as well. You're not really going to get this early on in the fight because, of course, this is only when she's transformed. And like we said, the transformation conditions aren't necessarily the best, but it's not horrible either. You should be able to get it in most content because most content, obviously, you're only facing 1 enemy. And you'll typically go to, like, turn 8. So turn 5 is about the middle of the fight. And then, yeah, you get this. So what? We got the double super? I think it might have been the triple super, but we'll just say double super to lowball it. So defensively, dude, we are well over 1,000,000. And we've got the little bit of damage reduction, and we were healing on super. And also, we got the 60% defense after receiving an attack. So, I mean, defensively, dude, we were like 1.5, 1.6 right there. 1.5, 1.6 million. And 21% damage reduction. I mean, dude, that's pretty good. I know a lot of these units, like, we don't like it when they have stats, or, like, crazy high stats. We would prefer guard, damage reduction, dodge, and I know Android 21 obviously has the damage reduction, but it's very low. 21% isn't really that crazy. But when you got a unit that's got, like, 1.5 million defense, maybe I'm, you know, kind of exaggerating with that, but it's well over 1,000,000, so keep that in mind. That's definitely pretty good with that little bit of damage reduction, so really impressive with 21. I think she is really good, but before you get that transformation off with her, I don't know, man. You got to be careful, especially if you're running her as a lead. Running 2 of her around is going to be tricky because with a lot of these leaders, like leader skill units, I should say, like, you know, 200% leads, you want them to be pretty good for slot 1, so then you can run 2 of them on each rotation. But of course, Android 21 is really only good for slot 2 and 3, at least for those first couple turns before she transforms, because she only gets to dodge when attacking. And then as we established, her stats start of turn just kind of suck. So it's going to be tricky with her for those first couple turns. If the enemy's, you know, hitting for 1 million out of the gate, or 1.5, or even what enemies are hitting for like 6 million now with the Hearts Red Zone stage, then of course that's going to be really bad for her because, you know, her defensive stat isn't that great start of turn. But then if you can kind of baby her, maybe don't run her as a lead, maybe just kind of throw her on, I don't know, one of these random teams if you're running Battle of Wits or something like that. And then just keep her in slot 3, and then once you get the transformation, you could probably keep her in slot 1 now because, you know, 60% defense after you receive an attack, 121% the stats when attacking. She's got the 21% damage reduction, and her defense start of turn is not bad by any means. I know this looks kind of low, but keep in mind, obviously we get the 60% defense after we receive an attack, and we still have a little bit of damage reduction going on. So yeah, I guess, yeah, we could just play this active skill. We can let it play the animation as well, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so pretty solid right there. Did, you know, almost 5 million damage. Not really that insane, but we did nullify an attack, which is definitely very good. And then also we get super effective against all types once we use the active skill. And we get that for this whole turn. So we're super effective against all types on this rotation as well. Just something to keep in mind. Yeah, you can see, so the active skill does count as a super technically. So we get the 121% the stats, and we're at like 750 KH defense. So then now, you know, she's going to be like amazing for slot 1. So a lot of good stuff with Android 21. I think she's impressive. after she transforms. I think there is going to be some issues with her before transformation, but other than that, she seems like a really good unit all around. And yeah, let's just see how her performance is looking here. So we're taking a super. This isn't going to do any damage, though, because the Legendary Vegeta event does suck. But we get the 60% defense from this, so now we're well over 1 million defense, and we're dropping an 8.8 million attacks. That, not the craziest, but keep in mind, we get the 2 additionals, each of which have a great chance of becoming a super. So then if you build her with maybe just like a little bit of crits, then you could potentially get some crits on some of these attacks as well. And then obviously she's AGL, so she's got the base 5 additional. So then pretty frequently, even 55%, you're going to see her get the quadruple super. So yeah, very good at 21. I know I've said that a lot, but she's impressive, man. Especially for how bad her teams are. She's going to be really useful for the game. When she's dropping 4 supers, doing nearly 10 million on every single one of them. She's got over 1 million defense with a little bit of damage reduction, and she's healing, and she's supporting. I think that's pretty good. That's not insane. Definitely not the best TUR by any means. I think God Goku and World Tournament Piccolo, and even the other World Tournament Goku, still probably hold that top 3 area. I mean, I think World Tournament Goku's far below World Tournament Piccolo and then God Goku, but he's still number 3. He's just not quite on their level. But Android 21, not really on either of those 3 units level, but she's still really good. I think she definitely is in the top 10. And what, I would probably say she's better than Gohan and Piccolo. At least like right there next to Gohan and Piccolo. Maybe like a little bit better. But she's around that range. So definitely very impressive. We've showcased her long enough in the Legendary Vegeta event. So let's go ahead and cut to a difficult event with an STR enemy. Not really sure where we're going to bring her, but let's cut to that and then we'll call it a video. Alright, so we're here fighting stage 3 of the Dismal Future Red Zone event versus Goku Black. Now, I really wanted to get this rotation right here on camera because this is going to be a very, very, very important turn for her. Either this is going to completely expose her flaws, or this is going to show how good she is. Because we're taking a super. Keep in mind, this Goku Black hits for like 1.5, and we're taking the super first thing. We don't get the chance to get the stats on super or when attacking, so this is a pretty bad setup for her, but I feel like stuff like this is still somewhat common. Like, if you get locked in slot 1, or you just have to put her in slot 1 for some reason, this is how she's going to fare up. So, we'll see. I'm thinking she's going to survive, but I don't know, man. This is going to be pretty tricky. Like I said, Android 21 before she transforms, I don't know. I don't really think she's amazing. I think she's just barely good enough if you keep her in slot 2 and 3. But we did survive. Okay, we survived the super. We died from the normal. But keep in mind, we survived it technically. And most of the time, or like in that situation, we could have put her in slot 2 and 3. And Chilai could have probably gone in slot 1 and hopefully dodged the super or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, you could see where I'm coming from. For the first couple turns, there are many situations where she can get crushed. But I guess every unit has their flaws, right? I mean, it's just all boiled down to where you have her on the team, really. Like I said, if you keep her in slot 3, let her do her thing, and give her, you know, the opportunity to get her dodge off, and then just pray that she does dodge, she'll look impressive. So right here, we are at 252k defense. We are not going to put her in slot 1. Actually, I think we're going to put probably the physical Android 21 in slot 1, even though that's still going to be just as bad. So you know what? I think we just have to use the Ghost Usher. I'm not trying to risk it. I'm just trying to survive here. I know the second phase is not STR, so either we're going to see her tank type neutral, or we're just going to try and get the transformation to good Android 21 in this first phase, which is definitely possible. This Goku Black has a lot of health, so we probably could see that if we get lucky with not getting, like, you know, a bunch of crits and additionals, which typically you want the opposite. So because that, we're probably going to get a bunch of crits and additionals right here. Yeah, okay, there we go. Well, whatever. We'll still see her transformed, and hopefully we can see her tank because, you know, defensively, I mean, like we saw in the Legendary Vegeta event, she's looking good. She can get over 1 million with a little bit of damage reduction, and then if you consider all of her other utility, she definitely is a very useful unit, but I mean, like most units for the first couple turns, or like most stacking units or build-up units, for those first couple turns, it's going to be kind of tricky to get them to where you want them to be. So like with a lot of stacking units, you know, we want them to have guard for the first couple turns or something like that, or build-up units, we want them to have guard for the first couple turns. And I think a good example of this is Orange Piccolo. So one of the reasons Orange Piccolo is so good is because, yeah, with his damage reduction, with his stats, he gets really crazy. But, you know, if you don't build up with him, he's not really going to look that good in terms of just his raw stats. But then, obviously, because he's got that guard for the first 3 turns, it gives him the opportunity to build up. It gives him the opportunity to do a lot of these things. So, of course, Piccolo was really good and really well designed. So with a lot of these other units that look good once they transform, or that look good once they stack or build up or whatever, you want them to have guard for the first couple turns, or you want them to have this, that, or that for the first couple turns. And by that, I mean, like, you know, anything. Maybe if they get like a 70% chance to dodge or 60% damage reduction, whatever. Some sort of really good defensive utility for the first couple turns, so it allows them to become really good. So, Android 21, yeah, just keep her in slot 2 and 3. Very simple. But she still looks somewhat decent before she transforms. Like I said, in Super Battle Road, she won't be completely useless. She's got that high chance to stun. And then also just a normal content. If you keep her in slot 2 and 3 and just hope she dodges, you should be good. I wouldn't recommend going full dodge with her, but maybe giving her a good amount of dodge would be pretty useful. Okay, thanks, Sheila. You didn't want to dodge there. I would say, like, probably half dodge, half additionals. That's what I would say. But if you want to go full dodge, I could see that. I think that's pretty realistic and not the worst decision. I would say do whatever, just don't really go full crits. I would say give her the minimal crits you can, because crits aren't really going to benefit her that much. She's not really an offensive unit, and also, she technically already has built-in crits, so it would be better to just go dodge and additionals. I feel like that would benefit her the most, but we did die. Unfortunately, Chi-Lai frauded out, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut back to this event where we transform with 21, see how good she's looking, and then for real, we'll call it a video, because this video is going on for pretty long. Alright, so we're here fighting Goku Black once again. We've got a really good setup for the 21. We can get the transformation off. We've got her linked up next to LR Bulma and the Dragon Ball Heroes Toa, so we got a lot of support right here. We're taking a super after we super, but we get to receive the attack before we super, or receive the super attack. Yeah, that was really confusing, sorry. So we're going to be able to see her tank this super. I'm assuming she's going to tank it because we're receiving an attack, which gives us the 60% defense. Also, we're getting the support from Bulma, which that just got activated. And then we get all the stats on super as well. So we should be cooking right here. I think we're going to survive, but I don't know. Okay, that's a lot of damage. I mean, yeah, that can happen. Her start of turn defensive stat is not necessarily amazing by any means. If you can get away with running her in slot 2, I definitely recommend it. I think most of the time, you're going to want to throw Bulma in slot 1 and then Android 21 in slot 2. But I'm just saying, when you get the transformation off, she is a little bit more viable in slot 1. But I don't really think this is a slot 1 unit. Again, if you have the opportunity to put her in slot 2 or 3, definitely do that. All right, here we go. How much is this doing? 430. We survived, right? I think we survived. All right, so she survived. Let's just put this in retrospective really quick. This Goku Black. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Okay, so we survived, but let's not get it twisted. We damn near died. The only reason we survived is because we healed a little on our super, which I guess is still Android 21's ability. So that still does go to show you she's really good. But this Goku Black is hitting for, I believe, 1.5 something. We're gonna die right here, right? Okay, yeah, we died. He hits for 1.68. Okay. So 1.68, we took 470k, and then we took a little bit from the normal before we supered, but then after we supered, we took it for double digits. So overall, she's good. Just keep in mind, there's some scenarios where she can get destroyed. I think pre-transform, she's going to take a lot of damage, and then after she transforms, if you don't have that extra 60% defense from receiving an attack, she'll take a little bit of damage as well. But you're going to want to make sure you have her in slot 2. Like I said, if she's in slot 2, she's going to be chilling. If you got to throw her in slot 1, maybe try and make sure she's type advantage. Try and make sure, you're not taking a super. I know obviously you can't control those things most of the time, but just be aware when using this unit, because she's not just like Bulma where you can throw her wherever and she'll be good. You have to be careful. But overall, still a very good unit. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking of Dokkan Fest Android 21, and let me know if you are going to be summoning on her banner, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.